Hi, in this video we'll be going over the continuation of the C# video tutorials. So csharp.net, if I haven't specified that. So we'll be going over here, so I've created a form. I've set up a form in the design window just to make it quick. So we have some different controls here. So there was supposed to be a group here, but we didn't really need it. So we just have 3 text boxes here, so make text box, year text box, mileage text box. I think this is add button, so this button's add button. And this list box is car list box. Then this button is display button. Okay, so let's start with the code. So here, first let's get those buttons in here. So we have, so add button and display button, I think. So we'll go add button plus equals new event handler. Sorry, add button dot click plus equals new event handler. Passing in, so we'll call it add button underscore click. Could just go like, let's try that. Whoops, nope. So then here we'll add a semicolon on that, and then we'll go don't have to exit button, so display button dot click plus equals new event handler. Passing in display button underscore click. I'll try click with lowercase, it should work. If not, we'll just come back and change it. So here we go, private void. We'll create the event handler now, so private void add button underscore click. Passing in object sender. Remember that object here is lowercase, so sometimes I may have messed that up. So object sender, then we have event args. There's a lot of tutorials in this series. Like, I think there's over 100. I think there's well over 100. For a long time I was doing O with capital, so hopefully it still worked for some reason, but I think it's supposed to be lowercase. So we'll go to the next one. So here we'll have private void display button underscore click. Then here we'll pass in object sender comma event args. Okay, so after that, we have our namespace here. We could change that, I think. It's still gonna work if we change it. Let's just write what we call this here. So WindowsFormsApp16. But this, or at least what I called it. So WindowsFormsApp16. Let's change this namespace here to, I know we usually don't change the namespace, so here we'll just go with car list. Not sure if actually it's gonna work because it was already kinda, I think you're supposed to set the namespace when you create the project itself, so let's just go with this then. Because like, hey, what's happening? So I don't think it likes that, so we'll just stick with that for now. So here we'll have, so under the namespace, then we'll have a struct here. So I have a struct, we'll say automobile, same idea. Then we'll open a block, and here we'll say public string make, same idea that we've done before. Public int year. And public double mileage. Okay, so we'll create a private list as a field. Okay, so here we'll have a private list of type object, of type struct object, automobile. We'll call it list, or car list. Points to new list of type automobile object, of type string. Just kidding. We haven't done generics yet, but I have a whole tutorial on Java generics. It's pretty much, should be exactly the same thing. It looks like it liked that fine, so. The way to do that is just, I think you just open another one here, and you close two like that. It's kind of confusing, so all your, I don't even think that would work properly, because I have to declare that it's a generic. Let's see, automobile. I believe I'd have to declare this that it's a generic string somewhere. So don't worry, I have that in Java if you're interested. You can always check it out, it's probably the exact same thing. Hopefully we'll try to get to that at some point later on. So that's one of the last topics actually that you usually cover in a programming language, other than networking, which we will be doing later on. So here we have private list, automobile, car list. So here we just have the list of type string. Okay, so usually you do that generics in the class. You may have to do it in the struct if you're interested in that. We'll probably talk about it later at some point. I'll probably add them into the videos, like later on. Not anytime soon, but later on, because we'll have to move on to JavaScript soon. So here we have. So pretty much we just have that. Then we'll have our constructor. So let's have a method here underneath the constructor. So let's have, it's called private void get data. So here we'll pass in an ref, so a reference parameter. We'll pass in a reference automobile, we'll just call it auto. So the getData method gets the data entered by the user and assigns it to the parameter objects fields. Okay, so then we open a block. Then we'll open a try. So we'll open a try here. I'm gonna have to undo that. Okay, so open a try, and then here we'll have this isn't the button, is it? No, this is just a get data button. Oh, sorry, it's not a button, it's just get data. It's not a button. Okay. So we're still going to get the data from the text boxes, so we'll go auto. So we'll set the field, the make field of the auto parameter, the automobile struct, the automobile object parameter. So we'll set the make field to make text box dot text, and here we'll go with auto dot year points to int dot parse. We're going to try to pass the string as an int, so we'll pass in the year text box dot text. Here we'll go with auto dot mileage points to double dot parse, because we're going to pass a string as a double. So mileage text box dot text. I was waiting for the catch, I think. So catch. We'll go with exception. no, exception. And here we'll go with message box dot show exception dot message. Okay, now we'll go with, actually I think that's pretty much it. So now we'll go with the button here. Private, now we already have those set up. So add button underscore click. So here we'll go with we'll instantiate an auto, because we haven't instantiated a object of type automobile yet. So we have our struct here, no struct object yet. We just have our list of type struct object, no actual automobile object, no automobile struct objects to put in the list yet. This getData method takes an automobile object parameter, which we haven't passed it anything yet. So to pass it something, first we're going to have to instantiate an automobile object, so here we'll go with automobile. Oops. Automobile car points a new, let's do this wrong. No, automobile car points to automobile. No, sorry, automobile car points to new automobile. Now we have an object. And now we have a car object, or we have an automobile object named car, which is a struct object. Then here we'll call getData. We'll pass in ref car. Because remember, why are we passing ref? We're passing ref because, well, it's an object. We want to modify an object's field. So usually when you want to pass an object as a parameter, you want to pass the object as a parameter by reference, because you probably won't be able to modify its data in memory, because you can't, because objects don't get passed by value, I think. So in this case, if you're, as we talked about before, if you're trying to pass an object by reference, so if you're trying to pass an object by reference as a parameter / argument, you want to pass, actually you will need the ref keyword, or else nothing's going to happen. So if you find that your object data isn't changing, use the ref keyword. That seems to be the way that seems to be working. So here we'll go with, so getData. So here it takes a ref parameter. So when we have the method call, then in the argument we're going to pass it an ref parameter. Okay, so here, actually one sec here, let me just make a note of that here for future videos to kind of explain that a little bit more. Take a breather for a sec. So here we have, so I'm going to make a note to make a vid to pass objects. We already kind of made them, but I'll try to discuss it more. So pass objects by ref as param / arguments. See if that was saved. Okay, so that was saved. So I'll try to get into more of that. I think we probably will, but just in case, I just made a note of it. So okay, so for later on in the series. Okay, so here we have getData passing in ref car. So we get the data entered by the user and we pass it to the method. Or no, we pass it to the, we're getting the data and passing it to this button click event handler. Then we will call carList.add, and then we'll pass in car. So we'll add the car object to the list. So we're going cars. So we're going carList.add car. So where's our car list? Our car list is a field. So we're adding our car to the list at index 0 pretty much. Now we'll clear the text boxes, so we'll go make text box dot clear. So we'll clear the text boxes after pretty much where the user entered the data. We're going to clear those for the next one. So your text box dot clear and mileage text box dot clear. Then we'll reset the focus to, I think, make text box. So we'll go make text box dot focus. So now the focus, so if you look at what's happening there, is that after we enter data into these text boxes, you're going to click add car to list. Then we're going to want to clear the data for the next time you want to add data to the list, so it clears the data, and there's going to be a blinking mouse focus on the make text box, waiting for data to be entered. Okay, so then we'll just do the last one here, which is we're going to display all the data in the list box. So you can use a list to work with list boxes. So I think we've done that before. So a display button. So we'll declare a local string to declare. So we'll declare a local string to hold a line of the output. So we'll go string output. So here we'll say car list box dot items dot clear. So this is, I think it's just to clear the list box's items just in case you want from the previous time. So now we'll loop through using a for each loop. So we'll display the car's info in the list box using a for each loop. So we'll go for each. We're gonna want to point to automobile objects. So we'll go automobile. We could just go with car val in. We're gonna index through our cars list. So what do we call it? Car list. So if we're saying, because in our car list we can't have like a string car, we can't have a string val in car list because it won't be able to access them. We're gonna need the same. So every time when we use a for each loop to index through our data structure or whatever, we're going to need a value to point to each index and grab the data. So we can't have a string. It won't be able to point to an automobile object because remember our car list stores automobile objects. You can see that in the angular brackets. So in that case here we have to say automobile. So we go we need an automobile object to point to each index. So that's why we have automobile car val in car list. Then we'll say car val okay, so we'll point everything to a I think you might need a toString here. So basically we're going to make a line of output to the string. We're going to call our string, we're going to store the data in a string. So we'll go output points to car val dot year I think we would need a toString here. It's not asking for one. Let's just try it first. I would use a toString here. So we'll go car val plus year because we're storing it in a string, so we can't store year data, which is an int, in a string. Let's go year with a space here plus car val dot make plus a string with, then car val carval dot mileage plus, just go with km, whatever. So that seems to work, but instead, I think we should probably go .toString here. That would make more sense. So carval.make.toString. What do we have? I think make was a string, so we wouldn't need to use a toString on that. So up here we have string is a make, the rest are not strings. It's saying that it works, but I think it wouldn't work properly. We need a toString, I think. It would make more sense to have a toString. We can see that if it works with that, then we can try taking this out after. Now we'll add this string to the list box, so we'll go here. So we'll go car list box dot items dot add. What are we adding? We're adding the output string. So what do we do here? I know it's kind of tricky. This part's a bit tricky. So we're saying we're looping through our cars list. The carval is going to point to each item in the list, or each element at each index. So output points to carval. So output's going to store the data. So output's going to point to carval.year.toString. We can store this whole string there, because remember, we're casting it to a string plus a space plus. So now we're tokenizing this kind of, we're not tokenizing it, but we're storing tokens in the string. Plus a space, plus the make, with, plus the mileage.toString, plus the kilometer. So we have like a long string in the string with spaces. Then we're accessing our list box, and we're just adding the output. So I believe a list box stores strings. It seems to work fine, so we can just store strings in it. Is that everything here? Okay, so that's everything, so let me just try. Let me save it and run it and tell you guys what happens. Let me just look at the description of the actual form. Okay, so you won't be able to see the pop-up window, but I'll just explain what's happening. So let me go to the design window. Okay, so this box at the top is the make. I was supposed to add labels, but I just skipped it. So make is at the top. The second one is year, and third one is mileage. So let me go with that. So I'm going to add something to the list box, or to the. I'm going to add something to the make text box. I'm going to write, for example, Ford. I'm going to hit tab. Actually, I don't know. I think tab worked. You can click your tab. So then you're going to go year. I'm just going to go 2007. I'm going to go tab again. Then I'll go mileage. I'll just go with 7,000. Add car to list. Then display car to list. And then it tells us that we have a 2000 Ford with 7,000 km. There you go. Now we can add one more. We can go with, let's go with, make we'll go for again. Here we'll go with year 2011. Then here we'll go with, actually let's go with Ford GT. Ford Mustang GT. Then 2011. Then here we'll go with mileage. Let's just go with like 10,000. To add car to list. Then hit display car list. Then it tells us we have a 2011 Ford Mustang GT with 10,000 kilometers. And that's pretty much it. So that's the end. I know it doesn't show you, but you can just pretty much just imagine that we added. So if you can see the form again, the one that I highlighted. So here we'll add the make. Second we'll add the year. Third one will add the mileage. Then we'll add car to list. I'll click the add car to list button. Then I'm going to click the display car list button, and then the data appears in the list box. So that's pretty much the end of the tutorial. So thanks for watching, guys. If you guys like the video, you can like and subscribe to support the channel for more programming and investing tutorials. In the next video, we'll be going over, let's just see what we'll be doing. So it's another lab practicing lists and structures. And then we'll be moving on. Actually, we'll have a little bit, I think we'll do some enums and then some enum labs. And then finally we'll go over the image list control. Thanks for watching, guys. If you guys liked the video, yeah, I already said that. Alright, so hopefully I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Take care. Thanks.